What's up guys, this is Chris. We just did a Bitcoin update, but I wanted to give you 3 stocks that you might be interested in buying, 3 crypto related or 3 Bitcoin related stocks that you can invest in if you don't want to buy the direct coin. Now I did a previous video talking about a guide to the different ways that you can invest in cryptocurrency and why you want to do that. I will link that in the description as well as up here for you guys to see. Marathon Digital Holdings. I'm not going to go super in-depth in this one because I have done several videos on my channel about this, including my 6 stocks I'm buying video for the month of April 2021. So I'm not going to bore you, but what I will go over is some brief points here. Okay, point number 1, this is going to be one of the largest mining operations that is publicly traded and is based in the United States. They are going to have 103,000 miners very shortly by Q1 2022. And they're going to have that all on board, but they do have a rolling amount that is going to be shipped to them and added to their capacity over the next several months, right? Month by month. Right now it's tracking at around, a couple thousand miners per month that they're adding on. Towards the end of the year, it's going to be tens of thousands, and that is going to increase their capacity significantly. They're only doing, about 200 Bitcoins in the first quarter of 2021 that was just passed. But you could see here that they're going to produce 55 to 60 Bitcoins a day, which would be thousands of Bitcoins per quarter. Multiply that by 50 something thousand, and obviously that's very significant revenue. They're projecting almost $103 million in revenue per quarter. At the end of the day, if Bitcoin drops to 50, 45, 40, 30, 25 even, by 2022. The average Bitcoin production cost is only $4,500. The price of Bitcoin, obviously, is about 10 times higher than that currently. Anything over 4,500 is good to go. It is incredible, right? If you're gonna make 100 million in profit and you get to keep 90 or 95 million, and that's straight income, guys, that's insane. And talking about the valuation here, if this company executes perfectly, then we're looking at possibly $1 billion in net income over the course of 2022. And this company is only worth around $3 billion here today. There's pretty much no company out there, I'd be really hard pressed to find a company that trades at 3 times net income. Moving on to stock number 2 here is Voyager Digital, all right? Voyager Digital is a company that trades on the OTC market, so it may not be available on every brokerage. It's not available on Robinhood, I'm afraid, if you are a Robinhood investor such as myself too. But if you do have access to it, it's a very interesting company because this is a crypto brokerage. It's an app that allows you to buy and sell using US dollars. You could trade it for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for more than 50 different digital assets, and this is the competitive advantage that this has because that is more coins than even Coinbase itself. So, and by the way, it does offer some strong interest rates. I do believe some of them are even higher than Coinbase as well. Now, this company suggests or claims that they do not charge commissions, but what they do is they follow a broker model. So they find the best place to the best exchange to fulfill your order with. All right, so you might place an order for Bitcoin for $50,000, right? They'll go ahead and fill your order at 50,000, or they'll match you with an exchange. But if they could find a lower price at exchange, let's say at that particular second, they could get Bitcoin price for 49,950. So they'll still fill you for $50,000 most likely, but they get to pocket that $50 difference, and that's how this company supposedly makes money, right? And that's why it's commission free, reliable execution, because they're going across several exchanges. They're using artificial intelligence and a lot of software on their end to find the best deal. That's as far as the app experience. I want to tell you about whether it's a good investment. So here are a couple of good reasons why it's a good investment. You can see that the executive team is very interesting. So it's made in NYC. Ironically, you cannot use Voyager Digital in New York, or else I would. But you can see the founder was former VP brokerage at E-Trade, and the executive team has a lot of other financial experience in fintech, in traditional investment banking like Morgan Stanley, former CTO of Uber. When it comes to the adoption rate of this app to trade cryptocurrencies, I gotta say it is super impressive. So this company has been around for a couple years, by the way, but was very small. All of a sudden, though, you're seeing because of the crypto boom that happened at the end of last year, their revenues went from 1.7 million per month. It went all the way to 8.6 million in January. So that's already like a 5x month to month. And then February is another 2x from 8.6 to 20. So this company basically went in the span of 2 months from 2 million in revenue to 20 million in revenue. And when we look at the March update as well, you can see that key metrics grew in excess of 35%. So it sounds like for the month of March, they might have done 26 million, 27 million. Is that going to tail off depending on how Bitcoin does? Of course, most likely, right? If that were to happen, because these brokerages and exchanges, as well as Coinbase, which we will talk about next, by the way, they are highly dependent on people buying and selling crypto. Astronomical rise so far, you would think, is this just a pump and dump? Is the move over? It went from $1 to like $30 before dropping here. Well, it is only a $2.6 billion company. Keep in mind, this is the key thing here. I'm gonna calculate this. All right. So they just did 20 million in February. They did probably 25 to 30 million in March. We'll just say they do 30 million per month at this rate now for the rest of the year. So you put it all together, average of 30 million a month. That's $360 million in revenue for this year. Seems highly achievable based on the way they're going. 360 million, and the market cap right now is 2.6. All right, it's 2.6 divided by 0.36, and you get a price to sales ratio of 7.2. That's actually really good when I think about it, because you look at many other fintech companies, especially some in the crypto space. When you look at a company like Square, which does have some crypto exposure, that is also a price to sales that is higher at around 12. Okay. And then you could look at a couple of other stocks. Ultimately you will find that a price to sales of 7 for a company that's growing like 50% a month in some months so far, or 30% it might tail off at, or even 20% at the end of the day. In this space, I think it is a very attractive valuation. And by the way, they're also trying to buy back 5% of the shares here for this company. It just announced that a couple days ago. All right, and the last Bitcoin stock to buy, the stock to buy number 3, is going to be Coinbase, all right? And this comes with a caveat. Before you completely dismiss the idea of buying Coinbase after this huge drop, I admittedly see in front of me here. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk, some fundamentals, and really get a sense of whether or not you should buy this. Even though a stock drops, it's not necessarily a bad investment, but we need to understand what is the risk reward here, and at what price level would you be comfortable buying, as well as your time horizon. If you want to buy this and think Bitcoin is going to go to 100K tomorrow and Coinbase is going to go to 600 tomorrow, it's probably not for you. But you could see here that the price has pulled back around 33%. That's pretty bad. And because it's a newly IPO'd stock, I can't go out here and tell you based off my technical analysis, blah, 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 blah. It's only been trading for like a week or two, so there's not a lot of technical aspects you can go off of. I can't tell you with certainty, I predict it'll bounce off of this support, it'll, go back up 50% or whatnot. What you need to focus on here is the fundamentals at the end of the day. So when we look at Coinbase, you're going to see some things here. Now, the price to sales ratio, as I touched upon earlier, is 42. 42 is very high. There's no two ways about it. But sometimes people will be willing to pay a high valuation. These numbers are based off of the prior year. If their results this year are killing it and way higher than last year already, then some of these numbers do become irrelevant. And that explains part of Coinbase's high valuation on paper here. So when we go look at the Coinbase filing, you see the revenue for 2020 was about $1.2 billion right here on this line. That's a big jump from 2019, where they only did 500 million. But here's the kicker. See from this article that Coinbase estimates Q1 revenue jumped 9-fold to about $1.8 billion ahead of its public market debut. So they're already in 3 months, they did the sales they did the entire last year, the entire 12 months of last year. So clearly big things are happening, that revenue is growing exponentially. And thus, if you were to extrapolate this, and I would say it's definitely possible, again, because you see more and more people going into crypto, and as long as the price doesn't absolutely crash again, I think it's possible, they could continue to grow. Q2 will definitely be higher than 2 billion probably, and then Q3 will be higher too. But even if we just extrapolate this number, the amount they did in Q1, 1.8 billion times 4, that's already $7.2 billion in revenue. So that's 7 times higher than what they did last year, or more than 7, depending on how bullish you're going to be for the rest of this year. But if we take that $7.2 billion and we take the market cap of Coinbase right now, which is $54 billion, 54 divided by 7.2, that's a price of sales of only 7.5. And again, you compare this to other companies that are growing extremely fast, like Square, and like Voyager Digital. By the way, that was a very similar price of sales, around 7. And so overall, that's very, I like to say, very inexpensive, but again, it does have some of that risk that some other companies might not have. For example, I really love C Limited, but it's a fast-growing e-commerce company with not that much risk. Price of sales is much, much higher, though, around 29 to 30 here today. If you're a bullish person, you might say crypto is going to keep going higher, and thus the valuation is just getting cheaper and cheaper when it was already cheap. If you're a bear, you will say that these prices are going to crash and the valuation is going to end up looking expensive because they're not going to achieve that revenue. They're not going to achieve that income. My personal opinion is I do tend to believe that crypto is not going to crash. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 3 crypto stocks to buy, or crypto related companies that you might want to do some research as well. As always, there is always a risk, and not every investment is right for every single person. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Until next time, my friends, stay well and invest responsibly.